Salma tightened her scarf as the morning breeze whispered through the broken shutters of her room. The sun had barely risen, yet the house already felt so quiet without him. 2 weeks. That's how long it had been since her husband Abdul Rashid was lowered into the earth. The dust still fresh on his grave. The sting of loss hadn't dulled. If anything, it had settled into her bones like cold harmattan hair. She stared at the small charcoal pot in the kitchen corner. She hadn't eaten properly in days, but today she must cook for her children. She turned to see Farida and Yusuf still asleep on the woven mat, their tiny limbs curled in innocence, unaware of how drastically their world had changed. Her phone buzzed on the dusty table, a message from her husband's older brother. We have done what is expected. Do not disturb us again with your problems. May Allah make it easy for you. Her lips tightened, but she said nothing. No complaints, no tears. There had been no help from her in-laws, no money, no check-ins, only accusations, whispers that she must have brought bad luck or drained him. Even her own cousins had turned away, saying, "You are strong, you will cope." But strength wasn't a choice for Salma, it was survival. She fetched water from the backyard tap with trembling hands, her hands raw from days of labor and nights of prayer. As she filled the small pot, she murmured under her breath, "Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil." She repeated it as she lit the fire, as she washed the rice, as she knelt for Fajr and wiped her tears from the prayer mats. Salma didn't know how they would survive the month. Rent was looming, the children needed school fees, there was no job yet. But she believed. Not in man, not in promises, but in the one who never turned away. And somehow, in that brokenness, her faith became her armor. Tomorrow, she would begin searching again. Cleaning jobs, market stalls, anything. She would not beg, she would not give up. Because beneath her black veil and soft voice lived the heart of a lioness. The market air was heavy with the scent of spices, sweat, and smoke. Salma adjusted her hijab and stepped cautiously between model puddles. The ache in her feet was a dull throb now. She had walked from one stall to another since sunrise, asking the same question in a dozen different ways. "Auntie, please, do you need help sweeping, selling, anything at all?" Most said no. A few looked at her with pity. One woman, her hands stained red from grinding pepper, had scoffed, "You are too soft. This place is not for women like you." Salma did not respond. She had learned silence could be sharper than any insult. She walked on. By midday, the sun was cruel, but she hadn't eaten. She stopped under a tree, using her scarf to wipe her brow, whispering a silent dua. She pulled out the last 500 naira from her wrapper and stared at it. It was either food or something she could sell. A voice interrupted her thoughts. "Madam, you dey find work?" She looked up to see a tall woman in a faded Ankara wrapper, carrying a basket of mangoes. "Yes, I am." The woman studied her, then said, "Come, my sister gets shop. She needs someone to help clean and write down sales." That was all Salma needed to hear. She followed without hesitation. They arrived at a small provision store tucked between two cement buildings. The shop owner, a middle-aged woman named Mommy Remy, was skeptical at first. "You sabi write well?" "Yes, ma. I finished secondary school and passed my exams," Salma said quietly. Mommy Remy raised a brow. "You fit count money fast?" "Yes, ma." There was a long pause. Then the woman sighed and handed her a broom. "Start from there. If you don't steal and you come on time, I go pay you weekly." Tears burned behind Salma's eyes, but she held them in. "Thank you, ma." That evening, she returned home with 2 loaves of bread and gari. Farida clapped in joy. Yusuf hugged her tightly. For the first time in weeks, they had more than one meal. Later, as they fell asleep, Salma knelt by their mat and whispered, "Ya Allah, thank you. Even stones move for those who walk with you."